All right, Gretch, thanks. A state law allows illegal aliens living in Nebraska to get in-state college tuition. But immigration attorney Kris Kobach says that this violates a 1996 federal law prohibiting institutions of higher learning from giving benefits to illegals without offering the same breaks to U.S. citizens. So he is suing the state of Nebraska. Kris Kobach filed the suit just yesterday. By the way, he is a Republican candidate for the job of Secretary of State in Kansas. He joins us live in Kansas City. On the other side of this issue, we have Gabe Gonzalez. He is the National Campaign Director for the Center for Community Change. Guys, thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning.
All right, Kris, let's start with you. Okay, you're running for Secretary of State in Kansas, and yet you are suing the state of Nebraska, Kansas's neighbor to the north. Why?
Well, it's not me personally suing. I'm representing Nebraska taxpayers. I'm doing this because I actually represent a number of cities and states around the country on the issue of illegal immigration. And in some cases where the cities and states are trying to solve the problem and trying to cooperate with the federal government, I represent them. In other cases like this, and in California, I represent plaintiffs where the states are actually breaking federal law. As you mentioned in your intro, there was a federal law in 1996 that says no state can give in-state tuition rates to illegal aliens unless the state gives the same benefit to every U.S. citizen. California in 2006, California in 2002 broke the law. Nebraska in 2006 is breaking that law. And Governor Heineman vetoed that bill in 2006, saying, hey, this is against federal law, guys. We can't do it. But the legislature overrode his veto, and so now it's time for the law to be vindicated.
All right, Gabe, how do you feel about this? I would imagine you would think that this guy should just butt out. It's a fine law. Let these people who are in this country illegally get the in-state tuition.
Well, I think fundamentally what this is about is what's best for America and Americans. At the heart of his argument is that this costs money. And that's why he's going after this. But his argument's fundamentally flawed, and here's why. There's about 12 million undocumented living in the United States right now. Laws like the ones that he would like to see changed, push them, bring them out of the shadows, make them more productive members of society, make sure that they're doing things like paying taxes, paying into the system, earning a good living, being good neighbors. We think that that's a more practical, more fundamental way to approach the issue rather than punishing a bunch of kids who want to go to college.
But Gabe, you're talking about fairness. Ultimately, it is not fair for, if illegal families wind up with the in-state rate and, people from other states who want to come in, there's no fairness there. One family in the country illegally, the other in the country legally, paying taxes and everything else. Where's the fairness?
Well, so that's a good point. So what we ought to do is make them get legal. Make them learn English, make them go through background checks, and make them pay taxes. Then it would be fair.
All right. Kris, I'll give you the final word on this.
Well, there are a couple of problems with his argument. One is that if you make them legal, you're rewarding their illegal behavior when millions of people are trying to play by the rules and come into this country legally. But even more importantly, it's entirely impractical because Nebraska right now is spending millions of dollars subsidizing the tuition of people who can't work in the United States once they graduate. It's illegal for them to get a job. So it is a waste of money, while meanwhile, many American kids are mortgaging themselves to the hilt, or some can't even afford to go to college.
All right.
So this subsidy should not be spent on the illegal population. It should be spent on U.S. citizens.
All right, we're going to have to end it right there. Kris and Gabe, we thank you very much for that debate. I got a feeling you two are not going to agree on this. All right, thanks for joining us today from Kansas City and Chicago.